I mean, as you see it, what is your issue with? Let's stick to wholesale. So we're. I mean, we can go to the other one if you want, but you reached out to me about the wholesale because you
Yep,
saw that I
definitely.
was doing like loans through phone sites. So let's at first let's that way we're not going back and forth and getting confused.
Sounds good.
So
Yeah,
what's
I
up?
mean, right now, I'm like I said, I started about a month ago. Close buddy or business partner of mine from back in high school has
Wow.
been really like promoting it and all over Facebook and social media. And one of my closest guys, so I kind of reached out to him like, "Hey, what's going on with this?" And he said he has people reaching out to him all day, but no one's willing to put in the work. So first day I reached out to him, I just got after it. I was making calls. I was figuring out where to get these lists, what lists to target. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I don't have much automation behind it, but
Hmm.
I'm kind of pulling these lists and making the calls and just having that basic conversation.
Okay.
So a lot of cold calling and a lot of research and list pulling and all
Driving
that.
for dollars, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. I do, like I said, I'm not doing any right now. I'm hoping to do some January when it starts back up again. I've done flips in the past, so I'm not wholesale, but wholesalers, a good wholesaler is worth their money.
Definitely.
A good wholesaler, good being the key word here.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so you're buying lists.
So I paid some guy like it was cheap. It was like $25 for like 250 leads. And what that was essentially he said motivated sellers that haven't been reached out too much. I've been hitting that list. I've had some potential interest, but then a few other. I used that PropStream service, so I've been pulling some lists from there. The guy that got me into this sent me a pretty big list too. So it's really just calling them, and I think that's part of the reason why I reached out to you about phone sites. I think I just stumbled across a post from you before and just trying to see what I can do to get people interested or how I can find the right people to instead of not waste my time, but
No,
I
you're
mean,
wasting your time.
yeah.
Um, question. I get it. You call me. I go, yes, I want to sell this house. Now what?
So I'm doing that. I'm finding out that, and then I ask them a few questions.
So I
Obviously,
give you
like
all the information you would need.
you give
My
me all the
question is, what
information.
does your back end look like?
So my back end is once I get all my questions answered, I get with the business partner, my
Your
buddy
buddy.
Pedro. He he puts everything together, and he's still teaching me on like comps and everything, so I get the basics, but it's still like the middleman. I got to go back to him. He'll come back and say like, okay, offer them 270. I'll offer them 270. They'll either
Take it or
be
leave it or back
ready
and
to move
forth. Yeah,
forward
yeah.
or all that bullshit. So that's pretty much where I'm at. And then he's sending over all the contracts and paperwork, and then we'll get out there with the cash buyer, show them the property, and take everything from there. So that's
Okay.
about as far as I've gone. I've got a few under contract, but nothing that's gone through fully where I'm getting paid yet.
Okay. So I have a lot of ideas. So this is going to take a
Awesome.
while. You have some time?
I do.
Okay. How long are you going to stay with your friend? Or are you trying to move on? And does
That's
he
a great
know
question.
this?
That's a great question. So he put me into this, and it's just kind of right now. I'm just learning everything from him, going all in. He told me he's like, look, he's like, I want you to like branch off or like be a manager or have your own team and all this. So I think it's pretty much just whatever goes at this point.
Are you building the business together or are you building to branch off?
I think
Because there's two
essentially,
different mentalities there. So I just want to make
definitely.
sure.
So I think right now it's kind of building it together, but I think essentially it's gonna be we'll probably branch off down the road or probably partner close together. It's something I gotta figure out, but that's a
you,
great
you, you
question.
need to figure that out soon.
Okay.
Because, and I've made the, I've made the mistake, a lot of ideas in my head, so I apologize
Yep.
for. I've made the mistake of partnering too early. I've also
Okay.
made the mistake of partnering too late. Um, so I was telling you about my cousin Joel. Shout out to
Yep.
Joel. What up? Um, except for Joel, it's a in general, it's a difficult balance
Definitely.
because you don't know anything, right? Basically, but you're hungry. You're
Yep.
going at it,
Exactly.
right? But how you build a business, in my experience, and in my limited experience, I'm only 37. I'm not old, but how you build a business in the beginning, it's better. And I've had the mistake. I'm talking from like deep personal experience. It's better to know your exit. Now, I'm not
Yep.
saying sell off. I'm saying, are you building a partnership where you're going to always bring him deals? Or are you building a system where he gets paid to teach you and then you go, thanks. And then once in a blue moon or whenever he might have a buyer you don't have, right? Like me and Joel did that when I was telling you about how we started in the beginning.
Definitely.
Hey, you got a lender I don't have. And you bring me that lender and we'll split the fee or whatever, right? But
Absolutely.
but we're separate businesses,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Right now, Joel works for me or works with me because I don't do employees normally. Again, what rabbit hole. But how you want to build that out changes how you want to exit changes how you're going to build it out. So
100%.
that's very important to know. Like, are
Absolutely.
you a manager? Here's another way of thinking about it. Personally, and we've just met, but I'm just so you break it down. I don't want to be Bill Gates. I want to be Warren Buffett.
Definitely.
Do you know what that means? And I'm not talking about money.
I'm thinking you mean that you want to branch off on your own. You
No,
get
they
the
both branched off on their own, but they're
yeah.
doing it differently.
Okay.
When you look at Bill Gates, now he's not really part of Microsoft. He has another CEO. But in the beginning, he was the CEO.
Yep.
And he was the CEO of Microsoft, and he did great things and blah, blah, blah. Whatever.
Definitely.
Warren Buffett was almost never a CEO of the, Warren Buffett, as far as I'm aware, and it could be different, Berkshire Hathaway, which is Warren Buffett's insurance company,
Yep.
they own American Express, or they did. They own Coca-Cola. They own Geico. They own Berkshire Hathaway Real Estate. I know that name. I messed that one up because that's a newer company that I've seen
Mm.
around. But he's not the CEO of any of them.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's the visionary. He's the guy that goes, I want that one. I want that one. I want that one. This is what I want. This is what I want. And when you read his books and books about him, he buys management teams. He doesn't buy companies. He's buying the team. So my question to you is, do you want to be a CEO or a manager or a partner under somebody? Is this your baby where you're like Warren, like you're like Bill Gates, where you're going to drive this thing for the next 15 years? Or are you somebody like what I think I'm trying to be? I'm not there yet. But I think of myself when I think about business, I think of myself as a tiny, really tiny Warren Buffett, because I already mapped out, and I could show you if I can move this camera. Uh, in my office, I've mapped out 7 different businesses, and I will not be the CEO of any of them. I'm going to build them out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work my ass off for 2 or 3 years on each one, but then I'm gonna bring in that management team. I'm gonna bring in that Joel probably being the one, um, and I'm gonna go buy something else, and then I'm gonna go buy
Love it.
something else, and then I'm gonna go buy something else. See, but that's my exit strategy, which
Definitely.
forces me to build SOPs, standard operating procedures,
Okay. Yep.
that are different than if I was going to run the company.
Okay.
You understand what I mean?
Makes sense. Definitely.
Because if I'm running the company, then I don't need to write SOPs as detailed, or as long as I'm running the company, I can run this company all day, change it today, and keep running the company, and nobody can say anything. But when you have somebody under you, or you're building a team under you, at that point, they need to know how you need to run the company, and you go, I'm done. That's the general idea.
Absolutely.
So exit, and I know we haven't even started with the problems you have, but how you're going to exit, if you're going to exit, what that exit might look like. And it can change in the year,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Somebody can hand you $100 million and you can be like, I wasn't going to sell it, but thank you. Um,
Exactly.
it's for now for sale.
Yeah.
Um, but that being said, you want to have I say 3-year plan. Anything after that, technology and stuff is moving so fast that you think
Yep.
it's one of those, you want to make God laugh, make a plan.
Definitely.
Uh, so figure that out. We don't have to figure it out on this call. Just figure it out.
You get the wheels spinning. I get some ideas, so that's good to think about.
Yeah.